of where you sitting at or where you living at or what you dealing with, this is an opportunity to take advantage of.
Oh, it's about to be the Creative Society totally rocks. It's already rocking and rolling.
Free loans.
Interest-free loans. Oh.
Yeah.
In the Creative Society, it is time for you to enjoy your life. We're talking about unifying the world, how this all can be broken down, the economics of how it all works. We are the people that gets to elect who is representing us. If they're not doing as we have asked them to do, gotta step down. We've been doing our research. We understand and we're telling you, please do the same. We want you to feel as comfortable as we do. They want you to be successful. They want everyone to be successful. Creative Society works, and that's why I'm in. Are you in?
Yes, I'm in.
Welcome back to the Black experience of being human in the Creative Society. My name is Dudley Najieb, along with
Lennice Najieb.
And I'm in. Are you in?
I'm definitely in.
I'm in the Creative Society, and we wanted to talk to you more about that. We're into part 3. That's why it might look the same to you, like, okay, are they in the same clothes? Yes. We had to do part 3. We had to break this down. And so this is a 3 episodes that we have been doing. And in these 3 episodes, we've been explaining to you about the economics of how it's going to work for you to get $10,000 a month. That does not go to your bills. We did that overview in episode 1. We broke down the 8 pillars in that part 1, not episode 1, part 1 of this series that we've been doing on the economy and the economics of how this all works. And we always make sure we present to you the experts and the specialists so that you understand that we're not just saying this because this ain't no joke and it ain't no hoax.
Yes, one thing about it is we are here volunteering our time to bring to you this opportunity, this reality that we, with the Creative Society, to help you understand your part in it. You have to be a part of this. If you are tired of where you sitting at or where you living at or what you dealing with, this is an opportunity to take advantage of, to be a part of something and volunteer your time, volunteer your skills, volunteer your overall aspect of what you want to do and be a part of this Creative Society.
I know some of you might be saying, volunteer what? What time do you think I have as I'm working 2 or 3 jobs? We get it. We understand that some of you are overwhelmed. And it might just be as minimal as getting a coordination center together, like what we're doing. This is our coordination center. We're using this as an example to show you it's just having a discussion. Maybe you only have time to have an hour discussion a month or a half an hour discussion a month with 2 or 3 other people and having with other folks online or in person. We are in the information stage of the Creative Society because it's about to be on and cracking, y'all. It's about to be the Creative Society totally rocks. It's already rocking and rolling. The train has left the station. You've got to get on board so you don't want to miss out on this opportunity. And I kid you not on that, as we're talking about the opportunity of a lifetime. Because it is time for you to enjoy your life. It is time for you to stop working to the bone where you're having to work 2, 3 jobs and look at another way in the Creative Society. And I'm telling you, that this is the way and the only way. Normally I wouldn't say that. You know me, I'm like, well, there's always 2 or 3 sides of the story that this can work. This is a little bit different because we're talking about unifying the world. This isn't just unifying the United States where we live or just unifying California where we live. This is a worldwide effort. And that is why your time, what very little you may have of, matters. Because imagine if it's collectively, this person has an hour of time, this person only has 2 hours, and this person might have a day. Put all that together, and you see how that culminates? You see how that all comes together?
Yes.
So we're not trying to overburden you. Creative Society is not about burdening one person for the sake of the good of just a few or others. No. That's not what we're saying at all. But just letting you know, a lot of us are volunteering our time because we see the bigger picture, the whole picture, the whole enchilada, not just one slice of the pie, not just one slice of the pizza, not just a fourth, right? Mathematician here. We're looking at the whole pie, and each of us might have a cut or a slice in it, but we got to keep that slice in there to work together. So that's what you see myself doing and Lennice doing as we've been looking at how this all can be broken down, the economics of how it all works. And we can go back and you can always go back and watch part 1 and part 2 as we're in the third part of this episode where we are breaking this down and letting the experts tell you as we also do the commentary. You'll also see in that part 2 where we talked about the creative society has existed before, meaning this model has worked before. It hasn't always been a consumer model. You might want to check out even on Alatra TV where they talk about the elite. Some of you familiar with Superman, Kal-El, remember the last part of their names, El, elite. All that relates, El and elite. I'm just giving you a hint to check that out so you understand how there is an elite that has a power structure which has driven this consumer model for decades beyond decades beyond decades, erasing history before where there was a creative society model that was working. But we'll talk about that in another episode. Let's get back to this discussion we've been having in part 3 of this, where we've been saying how the breakdown works and how there's not going to be any corruption. And that's what we left off with, how there's not going to be any corruption, at least on the political landscape or where we put our money, because all of that is monitored by the people. We are the people that manages the whole political landscape. We are the people that gets to elect who is representing us. And we are the people that get to decide what that elected representative, if they're not doing as we have asked them to do, got to step down. And that's in another episode too. So let's finish what we were talking about. We left off there with the corruption and what that all internally looks like, but going beyond that, how the technology, which is our friend, and we will be looking at Talib's excerpt when he talks about AI, but for now, let's keep it on the economy.
It will not happen because the monitoring system will guarantee the transparency of all operations. Monitoring that the money allocated has been used as intended will be done with the help of technologies that already exist, such as the multipurpose complex Voskhod. You won't be able to buy building materials for a higher price than those that are sold everywhere, and everyone can see their price. How is it possible to steal if what you buy and sell can be seen immediately? Money flows are transparent. Anyone can see what every penny is spent on. Now, in the consumer's format, this information is hidden. But in the transitional period to the creative society, it will be available to everyone. You can see exactly how money has been spent in any part of the world, regardless of where you are, because society's money is your money. For the convenience of transactions and complete transparency, a new single monetary unit will be introduced, which can be used anywhere in the world. It will belong to society and be created by the single fund for global financing. It will be digital. It will not be possible to seize or freeze it, and it will not lose value. You cannot lose digital money. It cannot be stolen, and its flows are completely transparent. From the first day of the transitional period to the creative society, an exchange of existing currencies for the new monetary unit will take place. All savings, capitals, and assets of people and enterprises will be converted into it. Why will the single currency be digital? Because firstly, it guarantees the transparency of all financial transactions. And secondly, with modern technology, there is no need for paper money or documents. Digital money is both environmentally friendly and convenient. A person doesn't need to carry a wallet, a passport, or a plane ticket. No chips or third-party devices are needed. A person can be identified by retina or a fingerprint. All this information will be stored in a single database that would be under the control of society as a whole, rather than individual countries or special services, as it is today, where everything is fragmented. This high-tech approach would simply eliminate any illegal activity. It will be impossible to engage in stealing or money laundering. It will all stop. In the creative society, a person has nothing to fear or hide. They are absolutely open and free. Everything starts with a clean slate. The key mechanism of the new economic model will be a limitation of wealth, which is the limit of maximum wealth per family that we will set as a society. At the present time, the recommended amount is $10 million, and it is confirmed by recent research. This is the total amount, including all movable and immovable property, all the assets and liabilities of each family member. This amount is more than enough for a comfortable, prosperous life, but not enough to gain unlimited power.
Hold that thought right there. You know, that's important in our community.
Yes.
Money, power, what?
Yeah.
We got to talk about that.
Yes.
You know, now some of the celebrities might see that as limitation. I'm looking at it as equivalization, you know, equalizing the playing field. Because you have the have and have-nots. No more of that. Have and have-nots.
Yeah, a lot of times in our community, and they want to feel better. They buy the expensive watch, the expensive cars, expensive clothes, expensive homes, and they want to feel like they better than this person, or they more privileged than that person. And that's not what that's about.
But hold up, you won't have to buy those things. You know why? Because it's a replicator. So go ahead and replicate your clothes, replicate the things that you would like to have that's going to make you feel like you're bling, bling, blinging. And if that's what you want to do, I don't know. So you will have enough of everything. $10 million, is that enough? Sure it is. It certainly is.
And another thing too, you know, the empathy part. You know, you see a person out there struggling. They don't have food. They don't have shoes. They don't have nothing.
Yes.
And a lot of times, you know, I see some of my old students. I'm out there just homeless, and you know, you give them a little something, but you know that's not enough. You know what I mean? With this society right here, you can see everybody prospering. Everybody is developing themselves to their capability, and you're not feeling that feel of, golly, I wish I can help this person, or do I have enough to help that person, or any of that kind of a guilt type of internal feeling that you know that somebody need to help this person. And most likely a lot of them I see are African Americans in my surroundings that I dealt with in the area that I'm living in at that point. But you know, it does something to you to see a human being not having food. It does something to see a human being in the rain, cold, don't have shelter. It does something to see a human being, no matter what color, to be in the heat and not having a cooling place or air conditioning place to go to. And those kind of issues will not happen in a creative society model that we are demonstrating, or we are sharing with you. And that takes a lot of pressure on your soul, on your mind, and it make you feel a little bit assured. I love to see some of my ex-students not homeless or not hungry, but thriving or happy and smiling and taking care of their children and saying, oh man, Mr. Najieb, that's what they call me, Mr. Najieb, a former teacher. Yeah, my son is graduating from law school at UC LA or UC Hastings or whatever the case might be, and that'll make me feel good. That'll make me feel excited to see a person that is actually living the life that of his dreams or her dreams. So that's what I like to share.
Listen, I'm all about transparency. That's what also I like about the Creative Society. They're all about transparency too. They want to make, don't you want to know where the money's going? I know you like to know where the money's going.
I always like to know where the money's going.
That's one thing about you. You always want to know where the money's going.
Yes.
And so you all get to know where the money is going just the same. That is important. Why this digital currency must exist, because it's easier to keep it tracking for everyone, for that full transparency that you're looking for. And I know in our community, we're all about transparency because we've got issues with that from the past, of not even being able to trust each other, from the post-traumatic stress of our historical background of what happened to as an enslaved peoples and whatnot, and how we've treated each other in the past. That is unfortunate. However, in the Creative Society, where I want to remind you, we're not dealing with race and discrimination, because if we do, Meaning, if they have to deal with a person that's being a racist and someone that's being discriminatory, they will be dealt with. That is one thing I know about the Creative Society, because they're saying there'll be no racism or discrimination, and they mean it. And the technology, when we get to that phase, you will understand why. And we ask you all again to share your videos with us, those of you who got a chance to watch the global crisis that we just had April 2023, There Is a Way Out, and share with us online your comments. It could be through social media or even at blendedtv.me. You can send us the link, and even your comments, your questions that you might have, because that's what we're all about. We're having this discussion with you on a worldwide level and letting you know how we feel about things and why we're a part of the Creative Society. And we've done our research, and we spent hours and hours of research to be able to follow up with the type of things that are being discussed in this forum and in the video. And we watched the November forum, we've watched previous forums, so we've been doing our research. We understand, and we're telling you, please do the same. We want you to feel as comfortable as we do.
The more people that get involved, the more people that volunteer their time, the better. And you say, how can we overthrow the president? How can we overthrow the governor? How can we overthrow the congressman? How can we overthrow their political areas in those areas? It's not about overthrowing. It's about everybody being involved to have a better life, a better community, a better system of government. And
the people's government, that's what I call it.
The people's government. And that takes a lot of pressure off of the politicians. That takes a lot of pressure off of the common man. That takes a lot of pressure off of yourself to feel that you are important, to feel that you are valued for whatever God-given talents that you have, for whatever God-given abilities that you have. And we are at a crisis in a sense right now as a planet, as a community. And the only way out is coming together, or the opposite is suffer the consequences. So,
and I know that I know we're not talking about election processes and all those things. That'll be in another episode.
Yes.
All these episodes we got to talk about. Oh my gosh. And we know that we look at the black vote as an example.
Yes.
And we always get somehow screwed or messed up on the black vote. You no longer have to worry about that. It's no longer a politician taking your vote for granted and saying, yeah, I took your vote, but now I'm on to something else. And we will talk about that in another episode to explain to you how it's the people's vote. It is the people governing this creative society. I can't reiterate that more than enough times. I have to help you understand this is not a two-party system. It's not even a one-party system. It's the people's party system. It's our party. Okay, so I want to reiterate that when we're talking about the economy and money and all of those things. And I want to make sure we finish up because I know we only got like 15 or so minutes and get back to this video. Okay. The limitation of wealth is really, though, not a limitation of wealth. They're just wanting to make it equivocal for everyone to be comfortable. And $10 million, you're already comfortable. You already got a replicator, right? You've already got the capsule. So you got your health part covered, you got the food part covered, you got the clothes part covered.
You got the rent part covered.
So what are you having to shop for, right? It's not like you have to use that $10,000 to go shopping because you just do the replicator. Oh, I want this Apple Watch. Let me go to my replicator and get the Apple Watch that he has. You no longer have to covet what someone else has because you can get the same thing. Go to the replicator, replicate it. There is the technology for that, and I can't wait till we talk about that. Those Star Trek moments do exist. But back to the part 3 at hand, the last part that we're talking about is delving into the digital wealth and the digital currency. And this is the part that Tali has also expanded on in another segment that we'll discuss. But just breaking down the money part, let's finish this excerpt.
When a person's wealth goes over the set limit, the excess funds simply disappear. They are not credited to anyone's account and are essentially written off. We are used to thinking in terms of the economy of the consumerist format, but here you have to understand that this is a different form of settlement, not the usual banking form. Therefore, money is not accumulated. When society needs money, the single fund for global financing simply allocates the necessary amount, which goes into circulation. Society is financed without limitations for as much as required for its needs. In the transitional period, money is needed as an exchange fund to limit the wealth so that humanity or a group of people would not build empires and usurp power again. This would create a high standard of living for all people. Let's summarize. In the consumerist format, money is a means to retain power. People try to accumulate it, hide it, take it away, while in the transitional period to the creative society, money is a tool to achieve society's goals. And money is needed only during the transitional period to the creative society, as a temporary measure for 5 to 6 years, and it will not be needed in the future. And later we will explain why. Nowadays, they say that the problem is not money, but its quantity. As we have already understood, in the new economic model, there will be no such problem. But the question is different. Will it lead to inflation? The answer is simple. There will be no inflation at all. It is impossible. In the current economic model, this would indeed lead to skyrocketing prices, hyperinflation. But in the economic model of the transitional period to the creative society, this simply could not happen. Why? Because prices would be fixed worldwide by law for all resources, goods and services. They simply cannot be raised, and this means that inflation cannot be created. But it raises another question. At what level will the prices be fixed? Will the bread cost $1,000? Well, if you make that decision, of course it will, because we will decide as a society anyway. The optimal prices will be calculated using artificial intelligence, considering all the costs and profitability, but the final decision on pricing will be made by people. Therefore, you surely understand we are unlikely to want the bread to cost $1,000. We would rather want it to cost less than it does today. And it will. All prices will be less than they are today. And thanks to what? Because there will be no interest on loans and taxes for medium and small-sized businesses included in the prices. Electricity, water and gas will be free. There will be a single economic environment in the creative society. And the absence of borders means no taxes on exports and imports, no duties, no excise taxes and no customs duties. The introduction of robotics, fuel-free generators and smart logistics will contribute to lower prices for goods. At the same time, quality standards will be equally high for the same goods all over the world. For example, the same hamburger that today costs $6 in America and $1 in Romania will cost, for example, 40 cents worldwide and will be equally delicious and juicy and healthy. Tasty and healthy food will be available to everyone. Right now, in the consumerist economy, 8 billion people is a lot. And in the creative society, 50 billion won't be enough. But even in the transitional period, we will not need to add worms, bugs and other insects to our food, because the production of organic and quality food will increase many times as new technologies are introduced, such as vertical farms, which we already have now, but it is not profitable to introduce them in the farming in the consumer's format. And in the new model of the economy, it will become completely natural. Today, despite the addition of insects to our food, 2 billion people are starving. And in the transitional period to the creative society, there will be neither hungry nor poor. I am already anticipating your next question. Such a rapid improvement in people's living standards and purchasing power, including an unconditional basic income of $10,000, lower prices and free utility services, won't all this lead to a shortage of products? It won't, but friends, the truth is, not everything is going to be so easy. You will have a new headache. Where to spend the $10,000 because the selection of goods and services will be huge. In the transitional period to the creative society, almost immediately you will see a huge increase in economic growth, because people will have enough money and there will be an unconditional basic income, which means that the purchasing power will increase many times over. And this is a massive boost for trade turnover. Moreover, ideal conditions will be created for manufacturers and business. These include interest-free loans, no taxes for small and medium-sized businesses, free water, gas, and electricity, access to the latest technology, and most importantly, a great demand for their goods and services. This will be a huge stimulus for them to create more goods, develop and expand. The new economic model is a real paradise for consumers and entrepreneurs. First of all, the absence of taxes for small and medium-sized businesses means not only a reduction in prices, it also means economic freedom. All the money you earn is yours and you are free to spend it as you like. No one will be able to take them away as it is done today through taxation. Taxes will be simply not necessary because there is a wealth cap and funds above a certain amount are already directed towards the needs of society. And this money will anyway be exchanged for goods and services which will make manufacturers themselves richer. This is much more beneficial than taxes. Secondly, loans for small and medium-sized businesses will be interest-free. You can take out a loan and develop your business, but this does not mean that you can borrow without limit and not pay it back. Obviously, there will be a mechanism for control. Of course, you have an obligation to repay the loan. No one will allow anyone to live off their back. It is not good for someone to live off the president's back. And considering that each person is the president, you cannot get a free ride on anyone. But on the plus side, no one can get a free ride on you. And thirdly, another key benefit for business is the economic model itself. It will be structured in such a way that any entrepreneur will always know what is in demand. This will be possible because we will use a planned economy model, which will be calculated using artificial intelligence on a global level. This means that any businessman can always visit the electoral platform and, with the help of artificial intelligence, find out what will be the demand for their goods and services in a particular location. Artificial intelligence will help them process the data and make the right choice so that their business becomes profitable and successful. For example, you have decided to open a coffee shop. You can go to the electoral platform and see how many coffee shops are in your area, how busy they are, and if there are already 2 half-empty coffee shops, it would be foolish to open a third one. Such a business will fail on its own and harm others. At the same time, the artificial intelligence will prompt you that there is no bakery in this area. Therefore, opening a bakery will be profitable.
Hold that thought right there. We used to own a coffee shop. Remember that?
Yes.
Whew, that was rough.
That was terrible.
This is when I heard that, but it was a great experience, right?
Yes.
We got to learn hands-on not only what it's like to struggle as a brick and mortar and having to live at the same time, and our kids were much younger, so that there were a lot of challenges with that. This would have been a dream had this existed back in 2015 when we had that shop. I'll never take back the experience. I'm so glad we went through the experience, but what do you think about this business model for businesses?
I think that is great. I think that'll be wonderful.
Did you hear they said interest-free loans though?
Interest-free loans?
Interest-free loans. Oh,
Yeah.
that is like, had I had that back in the day, had we had that, woosah, we would have been like on cloud nine. We would have been so successful. This is important. If those of you who are business owners, you understand that daily grind and what it's like having to compete with another coffee shop that might be just across town. Like we were competing with a Starbucks. Go figure that. And they opened up over here. I'm like, oh my gosh. And so it knocks out the local market. What they're saying is you can use AI technology to prevent that. It doesn't get any better than that. So even for the business owner, there is a model that's going to work for them. If you want to have a coffee shop, you want to have a bakery shop, and make sure it's not in the same area as another owner, it's not about the competition. Now, I know we live in a capitalistic society, at least here in the United States, and people like to have that competition. I like to win. I like everyone to win, and that's what I still consider healthy competition.
When you have a business, you know, you want to service your community. You want to also make money and provide a unique product that the customers will see a value in.
Yes.
And right now, with the unique product that we had when we had our coffee shop, we was selling what is called chicken and waffles. And those chicken and waffles were so good, it was so delicious. But when you have a one-way street and you don't have access to capital or access to dollars, where you would try to use a credit as the barrier to get those access to dollars, that made it a challenge for us.
Oh, not to mention that once this shop that wasn't too far, another cafe down the street found out that we were serving chicken and waffles, and then they started doing chicken and waffles.
Yes.
So then they copied us, and so it took away our customer base, and that really sucked. I'll just tell you right now, it's like, what happened to all of our clientele?
Yes.
And we'd come up with this unique model late night after the club selling chicken and waffles, and then they started to copy us. And so, and that was only less than a mile away. That was very difficult competition.
Very challenging competition, but as a business owner, you want to be a business owner. You want to be able to provide a service or a product to your customers, and also have that freedom. You know, you want that freedom, especially us coming from teaching, and both of us coming from teaching in that model.
At that time.
Yeah. So we appreciate being business owners. We like being business owners. What we didn't like is the hard grind.
Oh gosh,
and
so
the
hard.
Access to capital and trying to build something and just stand small, you know. So
yeah, and they keep you small because it's all based on business credit. During that time, you had to have what are called trade lines, and even if you had good credit, like at that time, credit had nothing to do with it. You had to have certain trade lines, which means you had to have certain business credit in order to get the business loan. It was just this circle of debt, because it's like, how can you ever survive this circle of debt if you're always in debt and you can't get out of it? It's this vicious circle. And many businesses of color have gone through it, and they usually got to take out of their savings, or they got to borrow from a family member, or they have to
shut down
shut down their business.
They have to shut down their business.
Or take out their retirement. All of those things makes it so difficult for the average business owner. In the creative society, you don't have those problems because you have these top economists have worked out the whole plan for you. They want you to be successful. They want everyone to be successful. It is no longer a consumer-driven model that we would be working off of, because we're working off of the creative model that has worked before. There are other civilizations where this has worked before, and maybe we need to have another discussion about that in another episode, of course, where we can show you that it does work, has worked, thanks to my friend Max, and I talked his ear off, sorry Max, but he helped me to realize that there are other civilizations where this has worked. And then I went and looked it up, all the videos he told me to watch, I did that. Yes, Max, I did that for you and for me. Thank you, Max. And so I am telling you, because of Max, I'm able to tell you that this works, creative society works, and that's why I'm in. Are you in?
Yes, I'm in.
That is why we're talking about the Black experience of being human in the creative society, because you get to be human too. You don't have to worry about your race or be discriminated against, because the creative society has your back. I can promise you that. And that's why I want to leave off today. You can watch the rest of this video. We just wanted to show you the best parts that have a plan, to show you that you can go watch the whole video when you want, when you get some popcorn, get a few others in the room, talk about it, discuss, even if it's just a small little house gathering or an online. People like to watch, like even on Netflix to do that, right? You can watch together on Apple TV, you can watch together and have this commentary. And that's how you start your own coordination center. And you can find out more about it if you go to blendedtv.me if you want to know how that works and ask us questions. That's what we're doing as a husband and wife team, where we talk to each other, ask questions, watch the videos together, and we share with everybody. So again, thank you for watching this last part 3 that we wanted to break down the money, because we always know in our community it's always about show me the money.
Show me the money.
We showed you the money. All you have to do is dive in, because I'm in.
I'm in.
Thank you for watching this episode of I'm In, and it's about the Black experience, being human in the creative society. My name is Julia Dudley Najieb.
Lennice Najieb.
And until the next episode, we'll see you then.